Okay, so today we want to continue our conversation on the condition of City Park Lake in Baton Rouge. And just again, this is the lake that is crossed by the interstate near Dalrymple that has been observed gathering lots and lots of vegetation and with degrading conditions since about 2019. So what is affecting the City Park Lake? City Park Golf Course. When I put up my first video, there were comments about that, and people like to point to golf courses specifically because they do use fertilizers and keep a big lawn out there. But is that all, or is that the main source? Not really. There is a lot more going into City Park Lake. So what else could be going in there? One, we have a lot of manure and nutrients coming from waterfowl. This manure is really high in nitrogen. It's also really high in phosphorus, and that is the limiting nutrient for algae growth.
So back behind me we see Canadian geese. Canadian geese are beautiful. However, they're not from Louisiana. They're Canadian. They should migrate back and forth, but they've become so accustomed to life on our lakes and ponds in urban areas that they just stay here permanently. Now, a University of Tennessee study showed that 25 geese, resident geese, for 1 year will consume 18 tons of grass. This is a problem for parks, this is a problem for cemeteries, it's a problem for residential neighborhoods, it's an erosion problem, but they also, as a result of that, produce 13 tons of manure each year. I am sure we have at least 25 resident Canadian geese on any of the lakes in the City Park or LSU complex.
Additionally, there are residents that enjoy feeding the ducks. I've done it with my daughters before, but they are putting in litter. They're putting in large amounts of bread and corn. They spread that out there, and it attracts more and more waterfowl. This picture is actually from the lake adjacent to the Louisiana State Capitol, where you have a lot of waterfowl out there. While they're on that water, they are releasing nutrients directly into the water column. We regularly get big flocks of pelicans and big flocks of cormorants to come in and eat what fish that are left in the lakes, and that all contributes large amounts of phosphorus and nitrogen in the lake. All of that contributes to algae blooms and the growth of aquatic vegetation. Also, you have to consider there is a watershed that feeds into the lake. There are several storm drains coming from several different directions, and this is a topographical map on the right hand side there showing all the different areas. It's not just the golf course, it's not just the areas right across the street, it's a lot more of the neighborhoods and the surrounding areas that are feeding directly into streams, through the golf course, into the City Park Lake, or into storm drains that run directly into the lake. Typically, homeowners are poorly educated about how material can enter those storm drains and go into the lake, but grass clippings, pet waste, and just loose trash, fertilizer can all go into those storm drains, and it is a direct line into City Park Lake, and that is going to cause a lot of algae and vegetation growth as soon as it's in the water there. This is an example of one storm drain on the edge of Dalrymple there. Poorly maintained. It's just built up a lot of vegetation. That vegetation is continuing to catch trash, debris, grit, and eroded material from inside the storm drain and collecting there. It's just a big mess, and those nutrients will make their way into the lake and grow vegetation.
This is a very nice sign that they put out here at a Breck Park, and it talks about all the different ways that trash can enter the lake. And that's nice if you want to depend on the discipline of people to pick up after themselves, to not let things get loose. But after it gets in the lake, who's picking it up?